Hello, welcome back to another noodle sesh. First I want to say I'm a little bit sicky, so I'm a little bit nasally, but I just tried to record this sort of ramble on Instagram stories and I was like, I don't know, 10 minutes in of recording and not even to the point of the story yet. So I was like, okay, we're switching over to YouTube. Come here. Come on. So just wanted to preface with that I'm a little bit nasally and I apologize. The topic that I want to talk about, I need to give some background on. So this has been a topic that I've been thinking about a lot this week. I don't really know why, but it's just been really at the front of my brain as I've been noodling and resting while I've been sick. And it is a topic that has been in my brain, living rent-free, as they say, since grad school, which was over 10 years ago now. So I was taking a stream restoration class. My grad degree is in water resources engineering, so I took a lot of water-based classes. And in that stream restoration class, what we were learning were techniques that we could apply to restoring streams to their natural features. So what we did as humans in like the 60s, 70s is we channelized a lot of our streams and rivers. And we did this for two reasons. One, because we were trying to lessen the hazard of flooding. So in nature, without human interruption, a stream or river with rain events may flood and then recede and flood and recede. And humans obviously want to live as close to the water as possible, especially when we channelized for the second reason, which was to be able to move ships up and down, to be able to move goods. So let's say you build a warehouse, like in Chicago, for example, on the river, to be able to have a ship come up and deposit goods. You don't want that river flooding because it's going to impact your building that's right in the river. So humans intervened in nature and channelize streams to address those two things. And what we've realized after that is that by channelizing the rivers and streams, what happens is that the water floods downstream. So we're just like pushing the problem downstream. And it doesn't allow for invertebrates or fish or other wildlife or vegetation to really grow because the water's moving too fast. Because we took out all the meanders. The meanders are what allows the water to naturally slow down. So that is all important background information. We did that, and then as engineers and I guess environmental scientists, we're trying to put those meanders back to rebuild those populations of fish and invertebrates which help with water quality, and the vegetation does as well. The vegetation stabilizes the sediment so that the sediment isn't going downstream and like making the rivers shallow or disrupting the quality of the water. So that's one thing that I worked on early in my career is some stream restoration projects. However, the topic that I want to talk about is something that my professor said in that class, and I have never once forgotten it. And he was talking in terms of disturbances. So what humans see as disturbances are things like floods or fires. Those happen naturally, like in a non-human world, those disturbances would happen naturally, and like they're good for the environment in terms of like when a flood happens, water goes outside the stream bank into the floodplain, and then that vegetation that's along the ground outside of the river benefits from that flood. The same thing could be said for natural fires, kind of burning things down and then enriching the soil and allowing new things to grow. that being said, the floods and fires that we're experiencing now are so much worse than what would naturally happen because of human interference with climate change. So when we're addressing floods or fires now, it's not the disturbances that we're talking about in that class. We were talking about in that class. Oh my gosh, see, this is why it couldn't be a bunch of Instagram stories, because I feel like I need to explain all of this background. So he was talking in terms of disturbances, like the humans wanted to minimize the disturbances, so we made everything the same. So we channelized the stream, so all of the stream bank looked the same. The water was running all the same. And what he followed up with was this phrase that I wrote down and basically burned into my brain. And it was, homogeneity is the disturbance, actually. And what he meant by that was, like, by making everything the same, that is the disturbance to our natural systems, because natural flooding, natural fires, the meanders of the stream, those things are all supposed to be there. Like, the ecosystem functions when those things exist. And by making everything the same, by making the stream look the same the entire way down, we're causing a disturbance in that natural system. And in college, when I was, I don't know, in my 20s, early 20s, I guess. If I was 20? Yeah, early 20s. I'm like, how old are you in college? I obviously learned that lesson, but then also about streams, but then also took it to heart as a lesson in life in general. So at that time in my life, I was really focused on, like, being an individual, and it really impacted me thinking about, like, making everything the same. Homogeneity is the disturbance. It's also true in our society. Like, if we're trying to make everyone exactly the same as us, that's a disturbance in, like, the natural system of humans, because we're all these multifaceted creatures with different experiences and different perspectives, and we shouldn't want to be exactly the same as anyone else. And in my 20s, I took that as, oh my gosh, I need to be an individual. I don't want to be like anyone else. No one could understand me because I'm different. And I think that I'm different thing was a defense mechanism, because I wanted to feel cool. I wanted to feel validated in, like, my unique perspective. But now I guess I've just been thinking about that phrase, the disturbance, homogeneity is the disturbance, because I still think it's true. I still think it's so important that we are our own little magical creatures, because literally every person's experience on this earth is different, but we also have so much in common with so many people. And I think it still tracks that, like, making everyone the same is disruptive to the natural system of humanity. But it's also, I'm now viewing it from the perspective of, we don't want to make everyone the same. We want to give everyone the chance to truly be themselves. And then in becoming that beautiful, magical, sparkle creature that you are able to find other beautiful sparkle creatures that may not be exactly like you, but are definitely your people. And I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. And I used to want to get it tattooed on me. Homogeneity is the disturbance. But can you imagine, I mean, not that I ever take the time to explain any of my tattoos, but can you imagine me trying to explain that whole spiel? And I think it's important to think about it from, like, the stream restoration side of things and the humanity side of things, because we are nature. And I have lovely conversations with a friend of mine who is literally studying and writing papers about the rights of nature. Other countries treat nature as an entity with rights. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think that when we think about how natural systems are impacted, like homogeneity in the sense of channelizing streams and then realizing that it's actually beneficial to put them back how they were and how they are naturally meant to be, I think that is a parallel or reflective of the journey that a lot of us go through, right? Like, we're really authentically ourselves when we're kids. And then through social conditioning, school, bullies, adults who don't have patience for us, we kind of hide or mask some of those really authentic features of ourselves in order to be like everyone else. And then hopefully, as we become adults and we are in charge of our own lives, because if anything, if there's literally one thing that you can take away from any of my videos, it's that I want you to live your life for yourself, because that is what I am doing for myself. Like, there is no one path. There aren't even 10 paths to take. It's your path for yourself. And there's probably someone that has done something similar and can support and encourage you in that path, especially if it's non-traditional. So I think when we start to become adults and like give ourselves the validation and freedom to become that really authentic version of ourselves, like let the creativity out, let the weirdness out, let the silliness out, and sort of shed some of that societal programming, that's us returning to our natural state as individuals while also being part of a larger community. So, wow, I just can't stop thinking about that, and it makes me really happy that I have taken intentional steps toward living my life for myself, and it also makes me so happy to even just offer a little bit of encouragement or support to you as you also take steps, big or small, toward living your life for you. So once again, the disturbance is homogeneity, and that means that making everything the same is a disturbance into our natural systems. That's not how we're naturally meant to be. We're not all meant to be the same. We are meant to meander and expand and contract at our own pace. And I feel like it's worth it to get my master's degree just for that one lesson that stuck with me for so long. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for letting me noodle about authentic expression as it relates to riverine systems. Thanks for being here. As always, please like, subscribe, share, comment if you feel so inclined. I'm grateful you're here. Have a great day.